of course, that we were praying for and rooting for. But I will confess that I never dreamed that we would be having this conversation now. I have absolutely no doubt that our new Pope Leo XIV will just be an extraordinary leader. We didn't think it was possible for an American to be the person that the Cardinals would choose, but he's got such a global vision, and all the years that he spent in Peru, he's a person that really has the heart of the whole church. And in the position he's had these last years as head of the dicastery of bishops, he's had a very wide vision of all the communities around the world, and he's an extremely intelligent and wise person with a huge pastoral heart, especially attuned to the people who are the most hurting and the most overlooked and forgotten. He is a missionary at heart. He belongs to the Augustinian order, who are one of the 21 men's religious communities that own CTU, as they form the corporation that of religious men that founded and oversee CTU. He has been in positions of authority not only as bishop and cardinal, but also he was provincial of the Augustinians for the whole church, and so he has a very wide global vision and a heart for everyone that includes and hears everyone.
He's not just an American; he's a Chicagoan.
He's a Chicagoan.
With a pretty big connection to here.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about that and just how your thoughts of that.
He came as a student in 1978, I believe, and he did his Master's of Divinity here, completed it in 1982. I didn't know him at that time. I didn't come to join the faculty until 1988. But I did have brief encounters with him over the years as he served, as he taught briefly for us in canon law. He did a doctorate in canon law. And he was part of the formation team for the Augustinians when he was the provincial. He was part of the CTU Corporation in that capacity. And we were hoping to draw him onto the CTU faculty when he was appointed to Peru. And so the next moment when I had a personal opportunity with him was when it was announced that he would be made cardinal in September of 2023, and so at the invitation of the Augustinian community, I joined them and was part of the celebration for his ordination to cardinal in 2023, and you could tell by the way that he interacted with people, by the way he carried himself, by the way he listens, by his very wise and judicious manner, that he's an extraordinary leader. And I think Pope Francis recognized that in him when he elevated him to cardinal and when he appointed him head of the dicastery of bishops, which is a very important position in the Vatican.
So we understand, we were talking to Pat off camera, and he was saying that he'd likely stay just right across the street.
Yeah, right across the street. Yeah, we'll have to check that out because I don't remember the exact year that the Augustinians bought that building and created their community there. We'll have it in the records somewhere, but the Augustinians also had a house that is just over, a little under a mile away from here, near St. Thomas the Apostle Parish. And I'm not sure if that was their student house at the time, but he may have lived there. I'm not sure if he lived across the street, but at least not when he was a student.
Any stories you guys are talking about? I know it was a long time ago, but Pope Leo XIV, before this book, that he walked around here, and it's just pretty remarkable.
Well, this building didn't exist then. This building was opened in 2006, but the building that was CTU is right across the street. 5401 was our original building. It was the Aragon Hotel, and we had 10 floors of the most fun mix of faculty offices, classrooms, library, and some of the communities lived in that building. But I'm not sure if the Augustinians did. I'd have to check that out.
Why do you, just with what you know of him, and you did meet him personally, right?
Yes.
Quite a few times. From what you know of him, why are you confident that he will continue the direction that Francis had?
Well, every leader will be unique, but he worked very closely with Pope Francis in these last years as he's been heading the dicastery for bishops. And that's a very important and influential position. I know that he was close to Pope Francis, and I also know the kind of formation he had in how he thinks theologically, and the pastoral experiences that he has had, how he attends to the people who are he attends to people who are the most hurting, and in so many ways embodies some of the same characteristics that Pope Francis was famous for. Going out to the streets and to the margins and attending to people that are often overlooked. That's something that's in, I'm stumbling to call him Pope now. I wanted to say that's something that's in Roberto's nature. He has very definitely honed those theological skills and pastoral skills in the same kinds of directions that Pope Francis has set. I expect he'll be very committed to to continuing to form a church that works in synodality, as Pope Francis has been trying to lead us to do.
Sister Barbara, I was directed to hand that to you.
Thank you.
So you can take a break if you need to
Thank you.
grab a little water. I had a quick question for you once you're ready. You talked about Vatican II and the different ways of thinking in the church, the traditionalists versus those who are looking to make changes. What about women priests? I mean, is that something that's within reach, do you think? Also, gay and lesbian Catholics, that have felt like they haven't been accepted by the traditionalists. Any thoughts on those two topics?
The Catholic Church is a very wide tent, and the very name Catholic means it includes everybody. And so, quite clearly, many of us have different hopes, different dreams, different expectations. There are many of us who do believe that it is of the Spirit that women also serve in ordained ministries. We were very heartened when Pope Francis established a commission, I believe it was 2016 was the first one, to study the question of women being ordained as deacons. And that group focused on the history of women deacons. And at the end of their study, they reported that they were not all of the same mind about the history, and so that commission dissolved. Then he established another one, I think it was in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, and this time it was to look at the ministry itself of deaconesses, women deacons. And the results of that study have not been made public. But it was a topic that was included in the agenda for both of the synods that occurred in October 2023 and 2024. And in the final document that came out of that synod in 2024, the one paragraph that received the most dissenting votes was on exploring further the question of women being ordained deacons. There was a study group set up that was supposed to report to the Pope in June, Now, with a change in popes, I don't know if that will change the timeline, but many of us remain hopeful that that door is open and that it will continue to open the rest of the way to include women in ordained ministries. The question of gay and lesbians, I was so delighted, as many of us were, when Pope Francis famously said, "Who am I to judge?" And it opened a door for acceptance that, again, I hope it's a door that will continue to open wider and wider. I think Pope Francis was so clear that everybody belongs. Everybody needs to have full respect and dignity. Everybody needs to know they are welcome as they are in the church. And I am quite confident that our new Pope will share that perspective and help us take the next steps forward.
Thank you.
Great.
We appreciate it so
Thank you
much.
so much.
You taking
Really
the time to
appreciate
do
Happy
this.
to.
Sorry
Happy
to
to.
bombard you.
No, that's
with
quite
the
all right.
cameras.